Okay, here we are with the recalcitrant gunnel, part three. It worked. I'm quite happy. I'm also half out of my head because I've that cold that was starting to come down with yesterday it's got me in its grip. Hot and cold chills, the whole shittery. It's your full on man cold because I don't think I've had a cold in like 3 or 4 years, so I'm hating it. And it's making it a bit goofy, but whatever. I'm happy. So, if you remember, yesterday before we steamed it, we had a wooden form right there, which we see in the back with notches for the lower and upper gunnels to keep them in proper relationship with each other, both the lower and the uppers. And we had a strap behind that. Pardon me. I'm gonna sneeze. Yeah, gesundheit. Oh dear. And that strap was there to lessen the chance of this joint breaking and possibly a break here as well. So it occurred to me, and as always, in 2 o'clock in the morning when my best ideas occur, it was going to be critical about the order in which I took everything apart. So what I did this morning, I backed out my bolts on this side. And incidentally, this black gummy stuff you see, this is pine tar. Actually, it's a mixture of pine tar and beeswax. And it's not in the current building tradition, but it is in the European boat building tradition because pine tar and beeswax acts as a gasket. It's both pine tar and beeswax are a rot inhibitor. I'm not sure if they're actually antiseptic, but I've worked on old boats in the past where the pine tar, I worked on a boat that was built in 1934, and there was a lot of dry rot throughout, but the parts that had been bedded in pine tar were essentially new. So again, this isn't in the Kirk tradition, but because these materials are expensive, the pine tar in the joints will make it all last longer because rot occurs where water gets in and can't get out quickly enough. So that excludes the water, and it's also a bit of an anti-fungicide, or it's a fungicide of sorts. So what I did was, I took the bolts out, I took off the caps, or I took the cap off on that side anyway, and then I gently lifted the gunnel out of this notch, and it sprang, but it only sprang about 1.5 inches, maybe 1.5 thumb widths. I know I'm not using metric, but my thumbs are always there, right? So, and a thumb's about 1 inch, so a thumb width, it works fine in this sort of boat building. And that's entirely acceptable. So I'm greatly heartened by that. I knocked the caps off of the next bolt building form. I relaxed the strap because if I'd taken the strap off before I took this off, there was a chance that it would break, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's fine, and it's holding its shape. So tremendous. So the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to take the caps off of, I've taken the upper caps off of this frame, but I'll take the bottom cap off next. And what we're going to do from here, our next boat building session, we're going to put in the risers or the spacers, the ones that you see here and up to the bow. We've got, I believe, 4 on each side to do here, and then 3 across the transom. Now, in various books, Hornell's Currachs and Coracles of Ireland, he talks about the frame of a nave-hogue being in 3 pieces: the bow, the center, and the rear. But I've never seen any detail or any photographs that showed a rear section of a separate section of the gunnels. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to achieve the shear, as I've done in the last couple of Kirks I've made, by just increasing the distance between the upper and lower gunnels at the stern, so we get a fair curve along its length. So next session, in go the risers, and then I think after that we'll put in the rowing pads, the hardwood rowing pads, and bore them for the thole pins, the thimbles underneath for the thole pins to rest in, and that will essentially complete the back part of the frame, except for whatever finish we decide to put on it. These things tend to be painted, but this is such gorgeous furniture quality edge grain Doug fir that I really want to keep the grain, so I might use CTOL or something like that. But yeah, so once those spacers are in, it's safe, and we can take that last block out, that last building form out, and we can sway it up to the rafters so that we can then take our 4 sawhorses, take them outside and level them so that they're level both in of themselves and also level in relation to each other in the right distance apart. And that'll be our boat building form where we complete the rest of the boat. Once the sawhorses, the building horses are in place, then we can fasten the lower bow gunnel seam there, which is pre-assembled. And then because this shop floor will now be clear, we can assemble the upper gunnels, and I'll show you how I do that because I'm building modular, because the shop simply isn't long enough for this crick. So there we go. I'm a very happy sick person indeed. So I'm going to post this video and have some more ibuprofen and generally lay about and be useless for the rest of the day.